out, I just wanted our conversation to reach out to people who, in fact, just look up to you to learn from you. Basically, see, this moment for me, it's a fanboy moment. I've been following you from back from 2016, 17. So back when I started reading Quora.
Right.
And back then, you were one of the popular accounts. I still remember going to your accounts. I still remember going through all of the answers, irrespective of the genres or irrespective of the things, what you had penned down your answers about. I was more curious about the way you write stuff. So, in fact, this is a fanboy moment for me. Like I'm speaking to one of my greatest writers, at least in the last decade. So thank
Fantastic.
you so much for being on this.
Fantastic. I'm glad to
Yep.
I'm glad to have this conversation also, and yeah, learn from you also. And yeah, and let's see how I hope you find this conversation helpful, and yeah, let me know.
Yep, for sure. So,
Yeah.
okay, so let me start with, so what made you take up this journey of being an entrepreneur? So when we are in the world, especially back, you have graduated in the early 90s, I guess, or the late 2000s. So what exactly made you to take up this journey of entrepreneurship? Did you have any backgrounds or any history of entrepreneurs in your family?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm sure you've read that I struggled really bad with school since very young age. Um, I really don't understand why, but academics was just not for me. My mom and my dad really struggled with me on me getting good grades, etc. I remember being really young in first grade or second grade in elementary school, and I remember them taking me to the doctor to check my eyes and to check my hearing, and you name it. They were continuously talking to the teachers and moving me around in the classroom so I wouldn't be distracted or whatever. And so that I really struggled for many years. That affected me a lot. In my early years, and I just tried to do my best and go with the flow through every single year. I never failed a school year. I failed a lot of classes, but I always had some additional teachers that would help me. My dad will be really on top of me, just making sure that I wouldn't stay behind, etc. But as I grew older, I finally got into college, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I got into engineering, to civil engineering, and
Mhm.
my dad was an architect. He was a builder, a constructor in construction, and so I thought, well, if the family business is construction and real estate, I should be doing the same thing he's doing. And so I didn't want to be an architect. I said, I want to be a civil engineer so I can be also involved in construction. Long story short, I hated it. It was a very bad decision. I was trying to please my dad all the way through this process. And so my college official years were 9 semesters. I don't know how many there are in India, but it was 9 semesters for me, and I graduated from 12. Yay! So today I joke with my kids that I tell them, you know what? I tell them, hey, back then our college in was struggling so bad with their economics or whatever, So I voluntarily stayed three more more semesters to keep paying them more and more and more and more. And so I make fun of it. But yeah, the long story is short is that I was never interested in school, in academics. All through those years through college, my focus was trying to start a business. I was really passionately trying to start a business, trying to find a way to just validate myself. I think it was a lot of an emotional need that I needed to like prove myself and prove a lot of people wrong about putting me down in my, I don't know, my in my self-esteem, etc., because I wasn't good at school. So it was just a need to try to prove them wrong. So that
So
was,
the revenge is sweet.
I really needed to succeed in something, right? So because all throughout my years from very, very early age, all the way through, I graduated college. It was a very bumpy road. And so I thought, okay, I need to be good at this somehow. And that was what really got me into starting this trial and error thing. And well, in my family, my grandfather was an entrepreneur, and my father was entrepreneur and I mean, self-employed businessman and an architect and a real estate developer, etc. So and so the expectations for me was I need to be involved in my own business or in the family business some way. And the mindset, I don't remember ever my dad telling me you need to get a job. It was just not there for me. It was not in my family and in my with my yeah, my uncles and everyone. It's an entrepreneurial culture in my family.
You have a very long history of entrepreneurs in your family, Hector. I was just wondering, maybe maybe your dad was into entrepreneurship, but it dates back to your grandfather. So it's great
Yes.
to hear.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Hector, so even with this passion of you being an entrepreneur, what were the early days challenges you faced of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, the early
Because passion is something else, and the real life challenges are something different. So, how did you cope up with that?
yes, yeah, it was a bumpy road because again, I think a lot of it was this emotion that I needed to validate myself, and and so I was passionately trying to search where I could be successful. And so my creative mind was continuously coming up with ideas, etc. I've written a lot about those early days trying multiple businesses. I had a very close cousin, a family member, more or less my age, who he was also very entrepreneurial. He is very entrepreneurial still, and we were like we spent hours and hours just analyzing things and and thinking about ideas and executing some ideas. So very, very young, maybe I was in high school when we started planting trees and seeds and trees, and we started selling them, etc. And that was one idea, and when another. Um, and during the college years, so I tried a lot of them. But so to answer your question, what were those early struggles? It was I've learned that I was driven a lot by emotions, and just going through all this excitement of, oh wow, this idea is just so wonderful. I don't know how other people feel this, but I can build an empire in my mind and just at night. And oh, if I do this and this and this, oh, it will be really successful. And then it's all about the execution. So to answer your question, is aligning my emotions and my ideas to the execution, and just that's a whole different story.
That was awesome to hear. Hector, what I feel great about you is you're so much passionate about helping the young entrepreneurs to succeed in their life. In fact, when I was reading one of your articles, you were only mentioning about the real life situations where the entrepreneurs will face. So, how did you come up with this idea of helping the young entrepreneurs to know the real life challenges?
Yeah, well, I wish I could help more people. I think
You are helping.
I think, well, the Quora, the good old days of Quora did help a lot of people. I could engage a
Couldn't
lot
agree more.
with the chat and communicating with people. I really enjoy that. And so why am I so passionate about this, of helping young people, is because mainly the economy has changed, and the value of work is depreciating, and the value of labor is depreciating. Why is it depreciating? Because automation, computers, algorithms, robots are taking over our jobs. So it's a matter of offer and demand, the offer and demand curve. When there's a lot of availability of those skills, the more depreciated our work, our labor becomes. So I am really convinced that I am not convinced, I am concerned that the educational system is still stuck in the industrial age. All this indoctrination that kids are going through, mostly most people, most young adults are going through this indoctrination process of where they are learning how to work, how to follow instructions, how to obey instructions and do one specific skill. That there's abundance of maybe of people who can do many of those jobs, and the more people and the more this globalization thing continues to grow, and the more algorithms and computers and robots, you name it, the more they can do our jobs, the more depreciated it will become for them. So it's not a matter of effort. Effort is not rewarded in our world. It's the results. It's the value that we deliver through our efforts. So it's a concerning thing, and I passionately believe that we need to be more entrepreneurial in order to succeed, or to succeed at least, or having more economic rewards, or lead to some economic financial freedom, etc. I believe it's not through work anymore. It used to be, but now the monetary, it's a complex thing, we can get into it, but this macroeconomics, this globalization, these fiat currencies that are depreciating, if you make whatever, $20 an hour, you're getting dollars depreciating every single day. And so it's complex, but yeah.
You just brought up this thing of hard work. Is the value of hard work is depleting? Yes, I was listening to one of the interviews of Naval Ravikant, so where he mentioned that working hard is good, but there's no substitute for working hard. But he also says that the guy working in the nearby grocery store, he's working as hard as you and me do. It's what you do, who you do it with, how you do it. It weighs much more important than how hard you work. So I just connected with what Naval had told with what you have just told him. So it
Yeah.
was pretty much close. And you also brought in the education system. So I was only wondering, the education system in India is only in the decline. So the same goes with the US also, is it?
In the US, you mean? Is it
Yep.
declining? Here's the thing. There's no option for kids, for young adults. There's no plan B. That's the problem. And we as parents, I have my kids, and I continuously ask myself, how can I best prepare them for this new world? This yeah, it is really complex, but so I am, what's the right way to think this? It's not through work. It's on, I'm working on building their mindset, on focusing on learning how to be valuable to the world, and focus on the value they deliver, not on their skills, on the value of their skills. People are obsessed with the mindset that if I grow my skills, I will become more valuable, because that was the old age idea, where the more valuable my skills, the more I will make per hour. That's not scalable. The paycheck formula, it's not a scalable formula. So here we have a young generation of people just fighting with competitive skills, trying to get to the best colleges, etc. What are they fighting for? For their skills, and their skills will be depreciated. It's a matter of time, most of them, right? So yeah.
So Hector, I was actually watching one of your YouTube shorts. So where you said a good business strategy is worth more than a lifetime of hard work. So how does one know their business idea or strategy is crazy, but it might still work?
Okay.
Because more often what people think is, okay, my idea might be crazy enough to get it executed. But what do you suggest people to take that out of your mind, but just to execute the idea?
Yeah, great point. Well, it's a complex answer, but let me try to break it down. Well, over the years, I've tried many businesses, and I've failed multiple times, and I've found some success in others. So I've been asking myself, what is it? What have I learned from those failures, and how can I focus on what really works, and how can I transfer this knowledge to other people? And so I have a couple of frameworks that I teach in my lessons and in my mentoring. So one of them is something that I call the 3 pillars of a successful business. I don't know if you've seen this PDF that I used to share, and I think I need to share it again. But here's the 3 things that all businesses fail if they don't have one of these 3 pillars. If it's just like a tripod, if you're missing one, you're toasted. So pillar number 1, I call it the pillar of alignment. What is alignment? Is the big question is, am I the right person to execute this business or not? And I give some analogies about this, but for example, I share the idea of Usain Bolt this great runner, world Olympic champion, etc., holds the world record running fast, right? Usain Bolt, and I also share the story of Michael Phelps, this another huge Olympic champion who is great.
Oh, he's a giant swimmer.
Yeah, he's the best Olympic swimmer in history, right?
Yep.
We have two very talented athletes, but one is good running and one is good swimming. If you put Michael Phelps competing on the running, he will never win. If you put this other guy,
Usain Bolt,
swimming, he will never win. So the same thing happens in business. We need to use our talents, our passions. What is it that we are really good at, so we can share it to the world through our business ventures. So one pillar is alignment. If there's no alignment with me in being able to execute this business, whatever it is, it will fail. It will fail. It's a matter of time, right? Well, and there are options, etc. Obviously, you can bring in business partners who complement your weaknesses, etc. But that's a whole nother story. Pillar number 2 is the pillar of leverage. I share that there are 8 variables of leverage, and this idea of leverage is how we deliver value to the market. And if all these complex variables I'm talking basically about what's the business model of the business. If it's not the right business model, it will fail. What are these 8 variables? I talk about the leverage of value. What's and I don't know if you want to get into each variable, but
no, we can just touch upon
leverage of value, leverage of efficiencies, leverage of scalability, leverage of effectiveness, leverage of control, leverage of assets, and number 8 is financial leverage. So most people talk only about financial leverage, and the thing about financial leverage is that financial leverage is not available without the other 7 variables in play. So I'm talking about the depth of understanding how a business works, and developing and creating a good strategy of how you're gonna be delivering this value through the business. Pillar number 3 is the pillar of effectiveness, and this is another example of how you can work your ass off and you can make 0 money. And it has happened to me multiple times, and now I understand it. And here's the thing: you can be. I give this PDF. I give the analogy of think of you as a fisherman. You can have the best tools, the best boat. You can have all the skills in the world of being the best fisherman in the world. If you're fishing in a place where there are no fish, you'll get 0. It doesn't matter how much effort you put in. So effectiveness means, is there a market who is needing your value that you're proposing? A lot of businesses fail because there's just no one there, right? And when all these young entrepreneurs, it has happened to me, when oh, I have this brilliant idea, I go and execute and everything, and I bring this to the market, and now I'm trying to sell it, and no one is there, right? And so thousands of hours or years can go by of us investing time and money and energy into something, and there's no market. So effectiveness means how effective will be your efforts. So any of the three pillars, and we can go deeper into each of these three pillars, any of the three pillars, if they're not there, a business will fail. So what do I mean with my quote of a good business strategy is worth more than a lifetime of hard work? I mean that working smart, following the rules, getting guidance, getting mentorship, or discussing ideas with people, it's worth the time and effort, because you can really work hard and nothing will happen, right?
I couldn't agree more. Okay. Hector, you're also mentioning we must stop selling the value of our skills. Instead, we must use our skills to deliver value. So what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah. What I mean is that delivering value to the market is scalable. Selling your value, your skills to the market, it's not scalable. Your skills, your time, my time, it's not scalable. We only have 12 hours a day if you will really want to work really, really hard, right? But that's it. It's not scalable. So what I referred to with that quote is, stop selling the value of my skills. That's what college teaches you. Instead, use your skills to deliver value to the market. If you find ways to deliver value to the marketplace, you will. That's a business model. That's a business that's a scalable, that you can replicate 1,000 times. So yeah, basically that quote is basically trying to challenge the worker's mindset that schools teach, right? So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. So Hector, you also wear a cap of being a mentor also. So what exactly do you think of having a mentor in life? So how does having a mentor in life help us in different ways?
Yeah. What's the value of a mentor? That's your question? Well, yeah, it's a mentor can see 3, 5, 10 steps ahead of you, of where you are. A mentor can visualize what your challenges will be, most likely, right? So a mentor will guide you, will point you in the right direction. And so not many people have that ability, that skill, and it depends on the area that you're working on, right? So for example, I don't have much experience in the software industry, so I can't be a mentor of someone who is struggling with coding, etc. I don't get it, but I do get the business model. I do get the ideas of the startup process, of finding customers, etc. So yeah, that's the value of a mentor. It's priceless. And yeah,
I'm fully convinced with the answer, Hector. So, do you personally have a mentor? I don't want you to name him, maybe anonymously. Do you have a mentor, or did you have a mentor?
Not really. I really hope I have more. I I had the privilege, the honor of having surrounded myself in my early childhood, of growing up surrounded of very good examples of people. I'm talking about my dad, about my grandfather, about some of my uncles, uh, uh, some people that were really set good examples, and I really learned to look up to them. So yeah, I could ask for some of them for mentoring. Uh, I wish I had the wisdom to ask for more of their guidance when I had the opportunity. And it will be that, having their guidance and really listening to them, because sometimes, many times, a mentor will tell you something and it's something that I don't want to hear, right? And so this guy is crazy. I want to ignore. I want to pursue my passion. This guy, he's an old guy. He doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. And so there I go, and boom, right? I will get into problems. So it's a process. When we're young, we really think that we know it all, and so it's a matter of time that life gives us our tough lessons, and that's the best way we learn, right? We by living through the experiences. I can give you all the tips, but if many times there's people who are good to be mentees or being mentored, who will really listen, and there are some stubborn people who really feel that they're geniuses, and they will struggle. So
The ego stops.
yeah, I wish I have more. I do feel that my mentors these days, today, are people that I read books from, are people that I follow, listening to them, to their podcasts, etc. There's mentors who I invest a lot in my education, in my continuous education. I am extremely curious, and so those are my mentors today. I don't. I wish I more a closer relationship, because the closer relationship we have with someone, it's a lot stronger and better, right? Yeah.
Okay. You just mentioned that you'll be listening to the podcast, you'll be reading books. Can you mention any one of them, at least for my curiosity or for the curiosity of listeners?
Yeah. Well,
Any popular names, in fact?
excuse me.
Any popular names?
Yeah, I mean, any popular names? Yes, for example, I love this financial guru and technological lady, Kathy Woods. Kathy Woods is
I admire that lady.
yeah, she's extraordinary. So I won't, as soon as YouTube, she publishes something in YouTube, I consume it, right? So I really listen to her as a, I don't know, she can sense where the trends are going in technology, etc. I love how much wisdom she has in macroeconomics, etc. And that's something I'm really focused right now, trying to understand the economy, where this thing is going, etc. So that's one. Uh, who else I follow a lot? Um, I love marketing. I love uh, I love marketing. Let me think who else. Well, I've been involved with uh, Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels. For many years, I've been attending Funnel Hacking Live, I take my kids to this event, and I try not to miss it, because it just builds this understanding of the psychology of selling, of why we buy, and we surround ourselves with a lot of other entrepreneurs. It's a mindset building community. I really like that. So yeah, basically, a lot of I'm also very into faith. So I a lot of my life lessons, I follow them through following mentors or leaders in faith. So yeah, those are really big influencers in my life. Yeah.
Since we are talking about mentorship, so are there any ways if somebody has to reach out to you seeking mentorship?
Are there
If
any?
somebody wants,
Uh-huh.
if somebody wants to reach out to you seeking mentorship, are there any ways?
Okay, so if someone wants to for
Take
my
you as a mentor. Yep.
okay, yeah, okay, yeah. What I need to see in someone who wants my mentorship is I need to feel the chemistry with them, right? If they
Basic.
of not, but what really attracts me to someone who I get really, really excited when I see someone who is really passionately trying to accomplish something and really taking action. I can sense the intention of someone who is really trying to just pick my brain or really trying to listen to me. If I am just gonna give someone advice and they don't believe it, or they are stubborn or whatever, that is not motivating for me. I when I feel a lot of responsibility when I try to give advice to someone, or mentoring someone. So it's a big deal. So number one, I need to see hunger, a really big hunger of someone to really want to want desiring guidance, and
Yep.
yeah, and sometimes the big trigger for me is I need to see if they're willing to invest in themselves or not. Usually at first I can do it for free. Yes, I'll be happy to do it for free, but at first, many times people need to show commitment by buying themselves their attention, right? The attention of someone who, because there's skin in the game. If I can invest a lot of time into someone and really do
Yep.
it passionately, but
It should be worth it.
it should be worth it. And so yeah, sometimes money shows
Yep.
that commitment. Mhm.
So, Hector, you also wear a cap of an investor. So, what made you become an investor? So that is maybe my curiosity.
Yeah, well, it was nurtured at home. Yeah, I grew up in that environment. My father being a real estate investor, my grandfather also being involved in construction continuously, reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting in their businesses, in their real estate. So yeah, I think I grew up with it, and it was like something that it was just, yeah, part of my upbringing. I don't think no one ever pushed me to become an investor or know or understand the value of investing. It was like it runs in the family mindset. Yeah.
Hector, if you ask me, I had always this question for the investor. Like, how often do you meet with the founders you would like to invest? Did that happen or does it happen?
Yeah, depends on, yeah, you're talking about investing in a small business or a
Yep, yep.
business that,
Investing in small businesses, yes.
yeah. Yeah, I used to do it a lot more. I am very, very picky today, but I really like to see monthly progress. So at least get monthly updates. That's very important. And I think ideally meet 3 times a year. In person and just discuss where things are going, etc. Sometimes people may need it every 6 months or whatever. It depends on, and some people may need a lot more attention depending on the stage they are at and if they found momentum as a business, etc. So it really depends on how much demanding their specific situation is.
I remember reading, I guess it was in one of Shane Perez's podcast. So where I don't remember the guest. So where he said he invests on the intuition. That is, intuition says this is a crazy idea, but the risk is -1, but the jump is plus 10,000. So if that comes into his mind, then it's like a spot on. I'm gonna invest there. So do you have any such experience, or at least do you go with your intuition, saying there are risks, but if the opportunity picks up, then it's like 10,000 times X. So at least any such, do you go with the intuition of such ideas?
Yeah. So you're referring to the idea of how excited I
Ideas.
am just about the idea.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
used to get a lot, very, very, very excited about an idea, and I could, yeah, bring up. I could build a castle in my brain. I think not anymore. I've learned to focus more on the people and on those who are going to make it happen. It's all about the execution. So the idea can seem exciting, but what really moves things is the ability to execute. So it's investing in the people who have this idea and will bring this idea to life, because things won't happen. It's the idea. It can be really worthless, right? So. Mm-hmm.
So, Hector, what is the drawbacks of keeping emotional contents closer while investing? So people often does this mistake. They put all their emotions when they're investing. Like maybe businesses, maybe real estate, or maybe whatsoever. So what is the sin or what is the drawback you see with people doing that? People getting the emotions together when they are investing.
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. I've learned through the years that making decisions with emotions, that's gambling. Period.
Perfect.
Decisions made with informed decisions with wisdom, that's investing. So going by the emotions, yeah, that's gambling. Go to Las Vegas.
Okay. So Hector, coming to your writing habits, as I told you in the beginning of the conversation, I happen to be a massive fan of your writing. So how did you cultivate this writing habit, Hector? So was it there back when you're in college, or did you start it off late? So how did this come up, this habit? So I'm
Yeah.
like very curious about this.
Yeah. I In school, I was really bad at grammar, at reading, at writing, at spelling, at everything. I really sucked at it. So this came as a surprise for me, honestly. At first, I found Quora, and it was just like I couldn't hold myself back of answering a few questions, right? And I still remember it was maybe back, as you mentioned, 2016, uh, that I answered maybe a couple of questions, and one of them immediately went viral, and I said, "What the hell is this?" Right? uh, and then I stopped, and I really, with my background of through school, I really struggled with my self-confidence. In many ways, I still do. And so that was something that it took me a while to just grow that grow that it's being growing the courage to really click publish, right? It's like I'm gonna make the feeling is that people are gonna make fun of me of what I'm writing, or my mistakes, or my grammatical errors, or and plus English is my second language, so it was a recipe for disaster, right? But so it took me a while, but slowly I started to publish more and more, and I could sense the reactions of people through the comment section, etc., and how valuable they found it. And so the more I wrote, I had never been a writer before, so it was a total surprise. But the more I wrote, the more I started to notice that it was something I enjoyed, that it helped me put my ideas, get my ideas together in my brain. My brain is, I struggle with ADD, with a bunch of distractions, and sometimes anxiety, etc. And so my brain can be a storm, and I'm very, very creative. So I have a bunch of ideas going all the time around my brain. So by writing, I've discovered that it slows down my brain. It pushes me, it forces me to get my ideas into a sentence and try to communicate this in a creative way, um, and share some of my real life stories, etc. So it suddenly became something that I really, really enjoyed, because it was like mental therapy for me. It is still is in many ways. When I am really stressed, when I have so many ideas in my brain that I can put them together, it's like a huge puzzle. Then I start to write, and I can focus on one thing, and my dispersed mind will focus on one thing, and it brings my stress levels down, my anxiety levels down, and I can really, really enjoy. uh, I really miss the connection with people, the reactions, the comments. I wish I had more. I used to get them a lot in Quora, but Quora has changed so much. So yeah, basically that was the habit. It was not a habit, and then I built the habit, and then the changes of the algorithm on Quora just I don't know. I found it demotivating, or I don't know what's the right word, but not motivating anymore. So I've been on and off, and yeah, I do have a diary that I write almost every day, and it helps me reduce my my worries, etc. I write my ideas down, etc. And it's a moment of really winding down a little bit the speed of my crazy brain. Yeah.
But Hector, for folks who don't know that you are the creator of one of the biggest spaces in Quora, so
Yeah.
that is entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the responsibility of leading that space? Because that space, for again for the audience who don't know, has filled with 22 lakhs people. So 22 lakhs people follow the content that is coming out of that space. So what do you think? What do you think about the responsibility of leading that space?
Yeah. At first, it meant a lot. Yeah, and slowly and sadly, I wish I had more control over it. I noticed that I've noticed that Quora is in full control of the algorithm of that space, of all the followers, um, and Quora sadly is full of junk today. The content quality is not there. I think Quora, I don't know, I understand it's a complex business model, but they haven't incentivized good creative writers to stay there and find a way to keep them there and motivated and really show the quality of writing. I think the algorithm now shows the same amount of views. It gets the same amount of views. A silly picture with a quality writing, right? Or a silly GIF, or like a repeating small video or whatever. And now
I
ChatGPT.
am sad of it as much as you are.
Yeah, now ChatGPT is there, and they have, and now these bots are answering questions and making comments based on ChatGPT. I can show you the feed of this space, and maybe today 60%, 70% of the answers are copy paste from ChatGPT. I'm a big user of ChatGPT, and so I can identify them immediately. I said, this is junk, 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 delete, block, get out of here. It's an endless thing. So long story short, I wish I had more control. I wish I had more responsibility. I don't feel responsible for anymore for this. I know that I don't have control of it, over it, sadly. So yeah, we'll see.
So again, we are talking about the decline of Quora. I still remember back in the days 2015, 2016, there were like writers like you, Balaji, Sean Kernan. So like I used to be a great follower. Quora, I was back then I was in Facebook and Quora. But I used to spend like almost my entire day on Quora, sitting and reading things, the stuff that you guys have written. But now it is, as you mentioned, it is filled up with only posts or the memes, and those are getting like 10 million views. So, what do you think about the future of Quora now?
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, and I don't find an alternative. I started writing in LinkedIn, but LinkedIn, it's just I don't know. There's no engagement of people. I feel like in LinkedIn, it's a corporate mindset that or culture that is involved in LinkedIn, that people are just trying to show the best out of them, right? And oh,
Exactly. People are masking up themselves.
I am such, and my credentials and all that shit, and yeah. So people don't I don't see the freedom of people trying to make comments in LinkedIn and they don't put a like or something because the algorithm notifies all their followers if they like something. And so I think there's this corporate idea or whatever it is of what are they going to think of me if I give a like to this crazy idea Hector published, right? So it's a bunch of superficial.
Yeah, even I don't understand. Even I don't understand the algorithm of LinkedIn. It works
Yeah,
crazy.
it's the what best way I can describe it. It's I think it's like corporate culture, right? Like that you need to fit into a mold, and you need to take care of your personal branding, whatever that means, etc. So I don't know. That's my perception. I have no
Yeah.
idea. In
Yeah,
Quora, it's really, really sad. It's really, really sad. It was an amazing place to share ideas, to communicate with people, to connect with people, and a lot of hungry people there in Quora trying to learn, and
exactly.
that's so absolutely mind-blowing. That audience from Quora, there were people trying to learn, trying to grow. It's not about the entertainment that you just find in mostly, I don't know, Instagram or I don't know, Facebook, whatever. I really don't participate on those platforms. So
It's more like the early users of Quora with the real curiosity, the people who were filled with real curiosity.
yep.
They they wanted to learn something new on a daily basis. And no platform was better than Quora back then. But now, yeah, the times have changed,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
sadly. And now, you know what? When I go to Quora to answer a question, I click the question, and the first thing that Quora suggests now, it's a bot, an AI bot connected to ChatGPT, and now it will give you the answer. So they're forgetting about what a social media platform really is. It's about connections. It's about finding people and communicating with people. They want us now to come uh, to ask the question or getting the answer of AI instead of people. So I don't know. I think they're testing. Eventually, I don't know what will happen, but
Oh, that is a disastrous step.
it's a
Nothing can be as disastrous as that is.
but yeah, Quora, I don't know. They've never heard the people, I guess. They're trying to figure out the business model. I don't know if they found it or not. I don't know how deep in trouble they are, but I know several writers that just love to share, that feel the frustration and the sadness. Yeah.
Yep. So, Hector, coming since you are a giant when it comes to the world of writing, so I want to know more about your reading habits. So, how much do you read in a day? Or are you a disciplined reader, or will you go with the flow? So, how it is?
Yeah. Mostly uh I am really curious. So my natural instinct is uh I my curious, if I'm curious about something, I get attracted, and that will catch my attention, and I start digging on that subject or whatever. um I do read books, but it's more a seasonal thing. It's like I don't have the discipline. I wish I had more the discipline, but I blame my ADD. I blame my continuous distractions. My messy brain or super fast brain, that it's all over the place. But when I grab a good book, and it captivates me, it gets my attention, I will consume it in 2 or 3 days. Like, boom, I can't sleep if I am into a good book. Yeah, the best way I found, me personally, to read and to consume books is I have a Kindle, and I have on my phone, I have Audible. So I get the Kindle version and the audio version of the book, and I am reading as I listen. I can accelerate a little bit the audio so I can read a little bit faster. And what I really love is to be highlighting what really captures me and the
I
attention,
love that feature in Kindle. I love that feature in Kindle.
and take notes, etc. So all the books I've read, they're full of highlights and notes, etc. So it's really nice for me to have it in a Kindle version, because now I can go to the app and just search keywords, and I'll find the highlights and the value bumps that I really appreciate. Yep.
So Hector, do you have any book that might have changed your perspective towards life, or that might have made you take any best decision of your life? Do you have any such books?
Well, there's a book that I remember when I first read it that really changed me. It really transformed my mind. And that book is called Mindset by Carol Dweck. Mindset by Carol Dweck. This book talks about the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. It's extraordinary, and this book, I found it so extraordinary that I bribed my kids to read it. I paid them. You read it, you give me a summary, we discuss it, and then I pay you for it, because it must be read by every single kid, especially going through the school system that we discussed about. The school system is hacking people's brains to have a fixed mindset, and this world demands a lot more, right?
Hector, since your core is entrepreneurship, do you have any book recommendations for young entrepreneurs or for the people who are looking up to you? Any book recommendations?
Yeah. Well, specifically for, you mean for entrepreneurs?
Entrepreneurs, or maybe in general also. If you have any generic book recommendations also.
Yeah, I have several. There's a book that I was mind blown when I read it. And it has nothing to do with entrepreneurship, but I think it's priceless to read it. Curiously, Bill Gates mentioned this book a few months ago. I was really blown away that he mentioned that this was one of his top 5 books ever. And that guy, he really reads a lot of books. And the book is called The Inner Game of Tennis. The Inner Game of Tennis. It's a book about tennis. By Timothy Galloway. The thing about this book is that it helps you understand the inner way of how we act and how we react. It's focused on tennis, but it's just mind-blowing how good it is to help you understand how we think and react, etc. There's, I don't know, several other books. There's this book, Atomic Habits, that from James.
I love that book.
Fantastic book.
Top class.
There's some books on economics that I really like. One of Jeff Booth, The Price of Tomorrow. That's a really good book to understand how things are moving in the world. I don't know. If someone wants to really focus on understanding marketing, etc., Seth Godin has great books on marketing.
Oh, he is a legend when it comes to marketing.
Extraordinary books. So yeah, obviously Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, and all those books are really good to build our mindset around entrepreneurship, etc. But I would focus on, if you want to think as an entrepreneur, I would focus on those two. Mindset by Carol Dweck, working on how we the changes the perspective of a specific situation, changes our perspective. Mindset of Carol Dweck, and the inner game of tennis. I think people will find it helpful, just to try to understand how we think, etc. And habits, atomic habits. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Hector, we are almost towards the end of the conversation. So, I just have two questions before we wrap up. So the first would be: are you pursuing any goals or working on any project at this point of time? So that is your top focus for now.
Yeah, I'm obsessed right now trying to understand macroeconomic, the macroeconomic context that we are currently, our world is going through. I don't understand it. I think there are many things that are happening that just don't make sense, that they used to make sense with whatever rules of economics used to work, and now they are for some reason not working. I'm concerned about the monetary policies of central banks. So right now I'm really focused on trying to understand what's going on and timing. When is the right opportunity to really take some action? Specifically, I am very interested in, I'm really into real estate. So I'm trying to feel when this cycle, this economic cycle, will bring the good timing to really get into real estate again. I don't think, at least here and in Mexico, I don't think, here in the US, I'm in Houston, and in Mexico, it's still not the time. I think we're still to see how this second half of the year goes. I'm also trying to, I'm watching really closely Bitcoin. I am a huge fan of Bitcoin, and I am a believer in the technology and the value that it proposes, of and mostly because of again, all this macroeconomic monetary policy context and craziness. And also I'm slowly working on an idea of trying to help young entrepreneurs in whatever stage they are at right now, while they are dreaming to start something, or they have an idea, or they're in the process of building something, or maybe they are already running a business or a small business, whatever it is. You can be a freelancer, you can be a small business owner, you can be a solopreneur, you name it. Every single one of us needs to have two things. You need to build attention, or know how to capture attention, or build an audience. In other words, build an audience. And how are you gonna capture leads that will that you can in the future grow a relationship with these people, so you can service them with your product or your service, and you can deliver the value that you're trying to give them. So yeah, I'm working on that, and hopefully it could be something valuable for people. I have these courses that I've launched in the past that I suspended after the pandemic, and I haven't been pushing that, and there's a lot of value on them. So I don't know if yeah, maybe I should try to launch them again. I haven't had the attention to do it. So I don't know. That's something I need to get into, or if someone, I don't have the help to do it right now. So that will be something interesting also, if I don't know, hire someone or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Hector, so this is the last question I ask for all my podcast guests. So it is to you now. So what is the meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life? Well, that's a very, very,
I know that's a complex question.
yeah, but what I would resume, I will tell you what is not the meaning of life, to give you the answer that I think. It's not about me. It's not about me being focused on myself, on my selfish nature, on my on trying to fulfill my desires, my wants, etc. That's a huge black hole. That's a huge trap. The more we feel that we try to make ourselves happy by giving us whatever it is, material possessions, success, pleasure, you name it, that leads to nowhere. It doesn't give any meaning to our lives. What really gives meaning to our lives, in my opinion, is serving other people, is being valuable to change other lives, to help others. That's, to me, yeah, living for myself. I've found that leads to a miserable life. So it's not this meaning of being helpful for others. It really fulfills our heart and our brains, and just knowing that I can change a life and be valuable for others. So in a word, I think the meaning of life, it's found somewhere in the realm of